Hey guys, I am running, so give me just a sec to get my stuff together. Hope you guys are well. I'm going to get the lineup up in just a second. I just need to let people know that we're live right now, so just give me like one sec. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me know in the comments how you guys are thinking and feeling ahead of um but yeah, I need another cup of coffee. This is just, you know what it is? Every single time I set my alarm to wake up at a certain time, and then what my dumbass does every single time is just snooze just a little longer, and that just sends my whole life into upside down. So I need to stop doing that. Because now I'm like, all this stuff could have been done. Every single one of the. Um, But yeah, let me go ahead and get the Arsenal 11 up for you guys. I know that's what you guys care about, and that's what we're going to talk about because this is pre-match vibes, where we're going to chit chat about the game before it happens and how we're feeling and all that kind of stuff. I feel like we haven't talked in a minute, so yeah. All right, finally let everybody know that we're live. Okay, great. Get this lineup going. Got it here. There you go. All right, so that's the Arsenal 11 up for you guys. Okay. All right, we're finally ready. Okay, welcome, guys. So Arsenal's lineup for today's game is Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko, Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz in midfield, and Saka, Jesus, and Trossard up front. I need to let that roll around in my head because I'm literally just looking at the lineup right now. Like I copied and pasted it without actually thinking like, how do I feel about the lineup and stuff. So in real time, you guys will get my reaction of this lineup. I mean, the back line is what it is. Like I think we had kind of spoken about as much as, some Arsenal fans are probably like done with Zinchenko, don't think Zinchenko has any value to the team. I don't think Arteta's anywhere near as done with him as some Arsenal fans are. So be prepared for him to start games. Um, and then it's good that Gabriel is in the lineup because there were some rumors that he wasn't going to be fit enough to start or he didn't train. Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz going back to that midfield. Interesting. And Saka, Jesus, and Trossard. So essentially, like I guess my bigger worry is that with this midfield, I feel like it requires somebody at the base of midfield to do a lot of work, and that will end up being Zinchenko, which, this is very similar to the lineup I think that we had for Villa away, if I'm not mistaken. White was out there, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. That was the exact same midfield. I forget who was up front. Maybe Havertz. I forget. But I think Havertz did start in midfield for that game. So it's not the midfield that people like. I get that. But we have won games with Havertz in midfield, so I'm not like distressed. I just know that there's going to be a lot of emphasis on Zinchenko doing a lot of work in midfield, which creates the opportunity for, Villa to take advantage of that when he pinches into midfield. I think Trossard and Jesus should start, or they've put themselves in the line to start for this game based on their performance against Bayern. And it just doesn't feel like Martinelli has fully gotten going yet. So, it kind of is what it is, maybe, Sammy is saying that maybe Trossard in midfield and Jesus on the left and Havertz up top. That is something that, that it could be that, I don't know. Everything is like super interchangeable, with Mikel and the way that we set up. So it could very well be, Trossard in midfield, Havertz up top, Jesus on the left, which would probably make people a little bit more comfortable. But it's interesting that Arteta doesn't have either one of Jorginho or Partey out there, which I don't know if what that means, like I don't know what that means. Does that mean that I mean, I'm sure that one of them is going to play against Bayern, so which one is it? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this is all really lined up, like how it looks. Um let me see. I'm just looking for our game so I can pull it up on Fatma. Yeah. So I'll show it to you guys on FOTMob. They don't always get it right. So they don't always get it right, but it's fine. Let me push this down quick, really quick. Um, so yeah. All right. So you guys can see that. Okay. So now why am I not able to do? I am so rattled. I am genuinely so rattled. Like, where is there it is. Okay. So Um, on FOTMob, it looks like simple Havertz in midfield, Rice and Odegaard. But we know that Havertz and Trossard could not really switch, but Trossard can be in midfield and Havertz can go into the front line. Now, from a Villa, they're going with a 4-4-2, it looks like, or some version of it. They are without Douglas Luiz, who's probably their best DM or one of their best midfielders. Um, There's always a storyline with this freaking fixture. It's just Emery has been long gone from Arsenal for about 4 years, but it just feels like the narrative is always, should Arsenal have kept him? Is he better? Is he the It's just like, are we not over that yet? Like, come on, like he's exactly where he needs to be, right? Fighting for top 4 with Villa. And then Martinez, obviously, he always wants to have a big game against us. He's just so annoying, isn't he? So Martinez, Kansa, um, Carlos, whatever his name is, the old guy at the back, Torres and Dinya, McGinn, Tielemans, Rogers, and Zaniolo. I would imagine that, like, obviously, Tielemans is a very technical player, but there has to be some way for Arsenal to gain some advantage in midfield without them having either one of Kamara or Douglas Luiz, because they're more of their more combative, dual type midfielders. And I don't know a lot about Rogers, but Tielemans for sure is not somebody that's getting stuck in. Okay. He's definitely somebody that we should be able to create some dominance around, right? And then they have Diaby, who's incredibly quick. He'll definitely be their outlet on that side when Zinchenko is pinching into midfield, which is a little bit scary, but that is a trade-off when you play with Zinchenko and with Havertz potentially in midfield. And even if it is Trossard, you guys, to be honest, if it's not Jorginho or Partey in midfield next to Rice, there is a heavy emphasis on Zinchenko to get on the ball, and he's going to be standing on it and trying to dictate play from that midfield position. So when he's super pinched in, especially at home, there's going to be that gap there, and their counter to that gap is Diaby. So we know it's there. We just have to deal with it. And then they have Ollie Watkins, who's having the season of his life and is probably the best striker in the league, if not one of them, next to Solanke and Isak, and Holland. So we know where their danger is. We know what they can do. Their back line, I think the Carlos guy, every time I watch him play, he's quite rash and makes mistakes. Torres is good and good on the ball. Kansa, a center back playing at right back. We know what the limitations are there. It's maybe defending out wide, you're not the best, but in the box, you're a lot better. Maybe you're not the fastest, but we don't have our fastest out there on the wings. So maybe it cancels each other out. So we'll see how that works out. In terms of the benches, let's see. um, Ramsdale, Nketiah, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Martinelli, Jakub Kivior, Jorginho, um, Tomiyasu, and Thomas Partey. Um, no Timber yet, so there's that. We have a strong bench to make it shake if something were to happen, and, they have their people. So, they have Bailey that can bring off of the bench, who's really quick. If they wanna go with a more offensive attacking fullback and take Konsa off, then they can go with Matty Cash. So they have some options too, but I would say that our bench is probably a little bit um more dangerous, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. And so it's gonna be a very interesting game. It's gonna be a very interesting game. Let's see what you guys are saying. Boy says Tamiyasu not starting is brave. John Donut says, "Hey Jess, hello to you as well." Christopher says, "Oh my God, just checking in. Liverpool is losing." I don't want to hear anything about the Liverpool game, genuinely. How much time is left in it? It's like anything can happen. I'm trying to pretend like that game is not happening. You know? I mean, you guys could talk about it. I'll just ignore the comments, but yeah. You guys can see. John P says Jess has been shopping for Nike Classics. Listen, I have been doing some shopping and I kind of hate that like when you share stuff like this, people can kind of see what you've been looking at. So yeah, it's true. It's true. I have been looking at like Nikes and Sambas and different kind of stuff like that. Sam says the lineup looks good. To the naysayers, you all need to learn to trust Arteta more. I don't have as much edge or as much vim or whatever towards Havertz playing in midfield as other people. It's not what I would do. It's more like, but I know it's functional. It's just he's not somebody that's going to get on the ball like Jorginho. But in the last two games, I do feel like Jorginho and like somebody will say, well, against Brighton, he got the assist. I'm saying outside of that moment, I don't know if I feel like Jorginho had the most impact on the ball for the entirety of the match. And then against Bayern, I think he was kind of anonymous as well. So maybe we do need to switch something up in midfield. Sometimes you need to switch things up to keep the other team guessing. We've been running Rice and Jorginho for a quite a long time now, and so teams may have cottoned on to it. They may have figured us out a little bit, and so there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you just need to switch it up just a little bit to gain a different dynamic. And we have other players coming in that are important to the team, and so adding them into the team also creates other little changes that need to happen as well. So Jesus coming back into the team and Zinchenko in particular. So yeah, I get what people are saying. They're, oh my God, Havertz, but um in midfield, we've won plenty of games with Havertz in midfield. It just hasn't been everybody's cup of tea. And quite frankly, I don't think any combination of midfield that we've put together this season has been perfect. I think that they've all missed a little bit of something. They've all been functional, but not getting a left center mid and not replacing Granite and going with something completely different and the other options being either DMs or number 10s, I don't really think until we address it properly and bring in somebody that will be satisfied. So it's just about going with something that kind of just works, and just going. We just need to win games, you know what I mean? But Havertz in midfield does not equal losing. It just doesn't because we've won plenty of games with him playing in midfield. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Christopher says, oh no, sorry. I did that one already. Kwame says, I think Arteta wants Zinchenko to get roasted by Leon Bailey. Why would he want that? Why would he want that? No. Again, also, this Zinchenko, yeah, he's definitely not the best defender, but he defended Sane and Coman better than Kivior did. So as long as he's concentrating, he's not going to get as, you know, exposed as he has to stay very, very, very like calm and cool and collected. But the constant like disregard for what he offers to the team is just completely disingenuous. Like Arteta's not putting him out there to be roasted. He's putting him out there because we probably need somebody at the base of midfield that can get on the ball and make things happen. And in the last 2 games, Jorginho's faltered a little bit in that, and he probably just wants to see something different. If you didn't see how much better we looked when he came on against Bayern, you weren't watching the game. Ivor says, Villa don't have a 6, expecting Havertz and Odegaard to cook today. I hope so. Um, John P says, like Havertz at 8 more when Trossard is next to him rather than Martinelli. To be fair, they can swap positions and fill in for one another. And it did really work against, and I know it's preseason, so, but against Barcelona in preseason, it was Trossard and Havertz, and they swap positions a lot more. With Martinelli, I think Martinelli switches positions better with Jesus than anybody else, so Martinelli might just have to come off the bench and be a little bit more of that, off the bench like punch, maybe a counter punch to, somebody like a Leon Bailey coming on or whatever. Maybe if Diaby's getting a lot of joy, bringing in Martinelli on that side would make them have to stay honest, So we have some things that we can do off of the bench that could make us ask different questions of the opposition. But that there'll never be a situation where um you know, I feel like we have questions around the midfield. Because we didn't address it, and we've spoken about it to nauseum, about it. And so right now we're with what, 7 games left, 6 games left. We just kind of have to just make it fucking work. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. C. Wilder says, I think he could look good in midfield in this current form. Yeah, and I'm you guys know I try to be as fair and honest as possible. Like, when I didn't think he was playing well, I said it. I felt like people were lying about Havertz's performances. I was like, people are just making it more than what it is, and it was irritating, because I think I was still disappointed that we didn't go out there and get a midfielder. And so I was like, I'm not about to sit here and lie to y'all and say that I think that he played well when he didn't. When he started to play better after Newcastle away, it was evident. And he was playing in midfield in those games. Away at Luton, he was good in midfield. Like, there's been games where he's played well in midfield. So, I don't really feel like it's that big of a problem the dynamic is different, and maybe our game plan is not to fully pass through the thirds, but maybe it's to win the second ball. Because against Villa away from home, the I feel like the one of the most frustrating games this season was doing the post match after we played against Villa away, and the amount of people that were trying to say that we got bullied in midfield when we did not. In fact, Rice and Odegaard and Havertz bullied them. We just couldn't score the goal, and and Havertz played in midfield there. So maybe it's a little bit of a look to, the last game that we played against them, where it really wasn't about us passing through the thirds. We just won the ball off of them. All the second balls, we just ate them all up. And once we got into the final third, we just were like afraid of our own shadow, So yeah, I think there's an obvious ripple effect to when Havertz plays in midfield that some people just will never like, and I get that. But let's not pretend like we've played every game that he's played in midfield, he's been terrible. It just hasn't been that. I'm sorry. Like, let's be serious. Um, Roman says, really hope Jesus and Martinelli score. I hope anybody scores. I don't even care who it is. I really don't. It could be Raya. Ramsdale can come off of the bench and play striker and put it in the back of the net, and I'd be happy. I don't care. One of them could put it in the back of their net. I don't. Child, like, we are at the point now where I know we're a good team. I know we can play good football. Whatever. Just win. Like, you know what I mean? Just win. Okay? Boy says, I'm comfortable with this selection. It's weird to me that suddenly people are apprehensive about Havertz in midfield. It's just, I just feel like it's the preconceived notions, about like, it's like when it's like there's a narrative, and so like people just go with it even though there's kind of like enough evidence to go against that narrative, right? So we have narratives that, Zinchenko is a bum, should never play, so anytime that he plays, even if we win and he plays well, they were terrible. He was terrible. He got roasted. He got this. Havertz in midfield. Oh my God, it's awful. He can't play midfield. See, it's wrong. Trossard, he can't play left wing. Oh, Trossard, he can't start. He can't do. there's just narratives that float around the fan base that people don't actually dig deep and say, is that actually true? Or is it just the loudest mouths in the room are saying these things and I'm just believing it because, you know, I'm not feeling confident about what we're doing, you know? So yeah, I think Havertz can play midfield. I think Trossard can start from the beginning. I think Trossard can play on the left wing if we modify the tactics and he plays more central. That's key. And I think Zinchenko is a good player that we should use in certain circumstances, but is he shit? No. 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 Um Absolutely not. Yash says, sign up for the watch along. How crazy day for Arsenal and City. Um, so for those of you guys who want to sign up for the Villa watch along, we will be going over to in about, let's say, 20 minutes or so. The link for the Villa watch along is in the description box and it's also pinned to the comments. And um I will also do a couple more just so you guys can see it actually in the chat. Um it's me spamming the chat, so it's just me. So you guys can see it. But that's the link to it. You just copy and paste it and use code Jessica to join. They've been super fun. We've been having a blast on those over at TIFO. TIFO is a platform just for creators that want to do watch alongs. And so we have a scoreboard. We can sync our times together. We have threads where you guys can talk to each other, almost like a little chat room, like different than this, where you guys can't just talk to each other. You guys literally have a thread where if you want to talk to, like, if Seawalder wants to talk to Matt, they can just talk to each other about whatever they want to talk about, and it doesn't get lost in the rest of the chat. So we're having a good time over there. And so, yeah, Seawalder is going to test it and report back. I put up the wrong link last time. It should work this time. Because I don't know why. When I'm rushing, I do a better job than when I plan ahead. And I was rushing this morning, so it should work. So yeah, there you go. John P says, want to see Tommy and Partey get minutes though, last 30 minutes. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. This is like, I also feel like we have to get to the point now where we are not just talking about the starting 11 and also focus on, like, it's going to take the whole team in order for us to win something this season. So just because Partey and Tommy are not starting doesn't mean that they don't have a massive part to play. Just because, I don't know, Smith Rowe and Fabio aren't getting that much time right now doesn't mean that they can't offer something really special, a moment or something from now until the end of the season. It's not just about the starting 11. We have so many games and so many different things happening that, like, we genuinely need to focus more on the group than just like, oh my God, Zinchenko starting. So does he hate Tommy? Like, no, of course not, you know? Um, Yash says, thanks, signed up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I will see you in just, well, now. I'll see you now and then I'll see you later as well, which is great. Gerard B says, you had me killing myself trying to get on. Oh my gosh, really? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, uh, you got, like, seriously, I'm so sorry. If you guys were trying to get on the stream last time, that was totally on me. And I kid you not, I spent the whole beginning of, like, the day before, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna set it up for them. It's gonna be so easy for them to get on it because I'm gonna plan ahead of time. And I put up the wrong link. But today I was rushing and the link is right. So you guys can use that link and use code Jessica and you guys will get into the watch along. C. Walder's tested it and it's working. Martin L says, I feel like we're underestimating Villa. I don't I mean, it's a strong lineup. What's underestimating? Like, what part of the lineup is showing that we're underestimating Villa? Is it just having Zinchenko in? I feel like, again, we really sometimes lack the ability to, kind of control the midfield. Like, we sometimes you need a creative passer to pass between the lines. And you know how we've spoken about this with, Rice and Partey, and Zinchenko is also a part of that. So adding Zinchenko in gives you the ability to do that and relieve some of the pressure on Rice so that he can do what he does best, right? And so Zinchenko can do that, Partey can do that, Jorginho can do that, but Jorginho in the last couple of games hasn't really been hitting the mark. So adding Zinchenko in, it's not that different. In my opinion, it's just, Zinchenko just has to be on on his best behavior. He just has to be on his best behavior. Like, you know, Liverpool have lost. God, they're crumbling. They are legit crumbling them. They lost to Crystal Palace? Oh, at home? Oh my oh, oh, oh my god. Liverpool lost to Palace at home? Yo, when that losing that game to Manchester United in the FA Cup has fully rattled them. Fully. Because they haven't been right since then. They haven't been right since then. Losing that game rattled them badly. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That is Crystal Palace at home should be a banker. That is 3 points. Has to be. Has to be. Oh my gosh. You guys, are you serious? Are you serious? Oh my god, it's real. Oh my god, and West Ham are losing too? Losers. Wow. Oh, oh man, I don't wanna talk too much before our game because we still gotta play, right? But that's fucking funny. Like, that's funny. It's you know what's even more funny about it is that they let Manchester United take them down badly. They let Manchester United take them down, like, of all teams. Did you guys watch Manchester United yesterday? They are in ruin. We haven't even spoken about that yet. Manchester United are in ruin. Genuinely. Every season, they have this moment where the manager is under siege, their players are on social media talking shit, all type of stuff is going on. And Liverpool let that team that is in crisis crumble their season. Well, well, well. Well, well, well. I never thought I'd see the day where Manchester United would do something good for me. Ever. Hello? United? Manure? Oh my gosh. We just have to win. Please, Arsenal. Arsenal, wake up. Our time is now. Like a legit like our time is really now. Like I actually just deeped it. You guys, I just deeped it. It's really our time right now. We really need to get this shit done. They lost to Crystal Palace at home. We must. We must. We must. Win today. Win today, and I'll fully start to believe. I'll fully start to look at flights. Fully. Fully. Win today, and I'll start to look at flights. I will get so delusional, it'll be ridiculous. Like at home to I thought Atalanta was like beautiful, you know? Like I was like Atalanta, that is so funny, and they got slapped. This is better because Crystal Palace, they ain't got nothing to play for. They have nothing to play for. Nothing. And you have everything to gain. If we had lost to Palace at home, listen, we have to win our game. We have to win our game. It's just that if we don't win and Poole also lost, City are winning. They just are. They're winning their fourth in a row. It's just that simple. This is it. This is it. Win today, and we're taking off. Woo! Let's go. I am so nervous now. I can't believe they lost that game. Ciao. Whew. Matt G says, when was the last time Liverpool lost 2 consecutive home games? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then, I mean, and let me look at their fucking thing. Let me look at their fucking thing because they had the easiest run in. They did. See, then they're gonna go back in time and say, "But see, we had a hard run in." No, you didn't. No, you did not. See, this is when I knew they were in trouble. When they went out to the FA Cup to Manchester United, and I was like, that alone will send you into a tailspin because they had to spend 2 weeks thinking about that shit. 2 weeks. 2 weeks they had to sit around and think about that shit, right? And it was embarrassing. Going out to that Man United was embarrassing. No, nobody can say that it wasn't. They haven't beat Man United at all this season, by the way. Then they played against Brighton, and I think they barely won that bitch. They won like 2-1. Yeah, so they were it was closer than it needed to be probably, but they got it done, right? Then I'm just looking at their little timeline because the crumble was real. Then they played against Sheffield. And I was looking at them and I was like, they can't keep getting away with this. Because they were like Sheffield genuinely should have scored like 2 goals in the first half. And then they were 1-1 for the longest. And then Sheffield also kicked themselves in the face for that first goal that they gave to Darwin Nunez. So it took like at home, it took them a lot to beat Sheffield. Mind you, we beat Sheffield like 5-0 and 6-0, like with no stress, right? Then they drew to Man United, and the crumble just from there, I mean, it's not a full crumble yet when they're gonna go out of that Europa League. Then they have to play 2 away games, which might be better for them because now it seems like Anfield is not doing it for them, but they play Fulham away and they play Everton away. Everton, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Do it for us. Come on. So yeah, I mean, this is just hilarious. But it just puts more pressure on us, doesn't it? We had to win before. We have to win every game before this moment. Like nothing has really changed, but whew, that's crazy. Jacob says they conceded first in more games they've scored first in. Yeah, you can't keep getting away with that, can you? It says we absolutely need to win. That's the thing. It's like nothing has really changed for us. Like them losing has nothing to do with like anything that, we still have to win every single game, basically, to win the title. So yeah. But it is kind of funny that they lost that game. John P says Palace gave everything. Their defending was brilliant. Liverpool couldn't hit a barn door. Salah was nowhere. Jay says during lockout. So that's the last time. Boy says Liverpool fans were saying they had the easier run. They 100% had the easier run. Like they do. Genuinely, we have the hardest run. Like nobody can look at it. It's our end to the season in both seasons has been insane. When you really deep it, we have hard games all the way to the end. It's crazy. Jacob says, we just need City to draw or lose just to give us breathing room. They're on us. Once City get into this, because if there's anything about City, like they could just sleepwalk and win games. So yeah, it's tough. Shamaria says, I need to see a good performance today from Arsenal. I need all the belief I can get. I ask for even less. I don't even need to see a good performance. I just need to see a W. I don't care how we do it. I don't care if we stink all the way to the end of the season. I don't care if we stink all the way into the end of the season. I don't care if it's 1-0 to the Arsenal from now until the end of the season. Genuinely don't care how it happens. Don't care if the performance is shit. Don't care if the other teams do whatever. I don't care. I just want the points. I'm done. I'm done. We have played some of the best football in the league over the last 3 months. I couldn't give a rat's about a performance. All I care about is getting the dub. And obviously, most of the time, like good performances go with results. But if we just jammied the rest of the season, I wouldn't care. I'd be on that flight just the same, partying my little booty off. And that's it. Period. You know? Ian says Liverpool lost 2 consecutive home games in 2021, Liverpool versus Brighton, Liverpool versus Manchester City. So that was the last time. Zitch says I pray Unai goes full Unai today. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's this whole like thing that people are doing now where it's like they go into the media and start talking shit like before our games. It's just very strange. But one of their it's not Ramsey, it's the other kid. I don't know what your name is. Rogers. Why can't we beat them? Why can't we beat them again? It's just like the way that they threw the City game and how I know they're gonna come out like as hard as they can today is just so annoying. But I guess because everybody views City as the best team, so we're a good team, but they probably feel like we're beatable, especially because they beat us earlier in the season and all this kind of stuff. So they'll come out with their best today, but we just have to come out with our best. There's no excuse. Like it's Villa at home. I know that it's not the easiest fixture, but just like Liverpool at home, just like City at home, you gotta get it done. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You must, you must, you must. Johnny D says, we need to win every game because City surely will. But if we are 3-1 up in the 91st minute, I want us to score an own goal to keep Spuds in 5th. Can we just talk about that for just 2 seconds? Yesterday's hate watch was splendid because, yeah, we didn't get joy from City, but they were playing Luton. Let's be serious. But the joy that I got from watching Spurs get fucking slapped by Newcastle was I never the joy. It was like sunshine was right on my face. It's just like, I can't believe this is my life. Right? Then Man United go to Bournemouth and draw, and they didn't even deserve the draw really. Like, let's be serious. Like, Bournemouth really should have won that bitch, right? And then they just went into full crisis after. Chef's kiss. I, it was a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful moment. But Spurs, ciao. And the defense mode that they go into after they said that they were going to be in the title race, that they were going to be better than Arsenal, that they're going to do this and that they do it every season. It's just it's ridiculous. Then they expect nobody to say anything after, which is hilarious to me. But yeah, I mean, they need us to do them a favor in order for them to get Champions League. And I'm just like, my how the turntables. You need us. Okay. Samuel says both Eze and Olise doesn't belong in that club. They'll probably get picked off. Mm, nobody's gonna stay. They're not gonna stay at Palace, right? John P says Isak looked pretty good. To be fair, Isak does look really good. He has over 20 goals now this season, so technically a 20 goal per season striker, right? He looks great. If Arsenal want to rejig the front line and buy a midfielder, there's a lot of options out there. There's no excuse to get it wrong this time. Khaled says 2-0 would be an adequate scoreline today. We're going for an attacking lineup, so I expect goals. The thing about our attacking, so-called attacking lineup is I never really feel like we look more attacking. Whenever we play with, it just feels like we feel more, maybe we have a better foundation with 2 DMs than we do with 2 number 10s and a 6. But we'll see how it goes, today. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. I don't really care how it looks. Like, I just want us to win. We could win 1-0. I don't care. I really don't care. We just need to win. Chosen One says, Jess, Eze look is so good. Arsenal, please go for him in the summer. Boy says certain Spurs fans said they weren't going to lose a single one of their last 10 games, and that would finish above us. They deserve all the smoke. Shamaria says, I was so convinced Liverpool were cooking up the nastiest last-minute winner when Jota came. Oh, man. Cool. I cannot believe. Palace at home? I mean, I get that Eze and Olise and stuff like that, but you expect Liverpool to get that done. That's crazy. Zitch says, we just need to run back the Brighton performance. Yeah. I mean, we've had quite a few really good professional performances against dangerous sides at home. And so I expect that, some version of that. Villa are an uncomfortable opponent for us just because they have a lot of quality and, Ollie Watkins, they got things going on, but we should also be an awkward opponent for them. We must, and I want to see Saka continue on his performance from Champions League. I would love to see Trossard and Jesus keep on their performances as well. Need to get a really big day out for Zinchenko with obviously the threat going in the other direction. We need to feel like the risk was worth, the reward was worth the risk today, which that's the whole thing of Zinchenko was the risk versus, the risk versus reward. And we also just need very confident, calm performances from Gabriel and Saliba. They did not have they chose probably the worst day to have their worst performances of the season. Um, so they need to put that behind them and look like the team that beat Brighton, because that team was very good. Johnny D says Villa are uncomfortable because they don't play second line and attack like against Chidi. Guest says, we need to start strong or we'll fade. It's getting to that time of the season. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. We just need to win. We just need to win. Like I don't care how we do it, just get it done. The link, you guys, for the Villa watch along, which is going to start in just about like 10 minutes or so. The link is in the description box. It is pinned in the comments. It is also in the chat as well, which I'll put it in some more just for you guys that are like, I don't see a pinned comment. I just put the link in the chat. All you have to do is copy and paste that link. It 100% works this time. I promise you, I've gotten it right this time. So copy and paste it, and then, then you guys can use code Jessica to join. Let's see. You guys are talking about Bailey. Bailey's not even starting. He's coming in after. That's probably their Martinelli play, right? So I don't know. I feel like sometimes we focus too much on how people are going to play against us, and they need to be worried about us at home, right? So yeah, I'm thinking I don't know. There's like a lot of focus on Zinchenko. And I just wonder if like sometimes we can focus on the things that he does well, or is it impossible to do so? John P says, okay, I'm really nervous now. Guest says Saliba is a Rolls Royce. He is. He just needs to have he needs to be very calm today and like not get rattled. Like I don't think it's wrong to say that our back line was very rattled against Bayern once we gave up that first goal. And I think everybody probably had some culpability in it, so yeah, we need to be much better today. I'm just looking for the channel I'm supposed to be watching it on. Oh my gosh, now I'm starting to get nervous. That Liverpool result has just made it so like real, It's so real. Nicholas says goal difference might come into play. 2 to 3 games left. Teams just caving. 4 goals ain't helping. We need that Man City fumble at Spurs. We do. We do. Jose says, or Jose or Jose, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, says, let's do this. Every game is a final. Let's go, boys. No room for error. Sam says, Big Ange never changes his high line strategy no matter what. Do you think managers should be flexible? Yeah, I do. Personally, I feel like you should be flexible. I don't know why there's like this almost like glamorization of managers getting whooped, but they kept their shape. They kept it up the way, I don't really understand like why that's a thing, but I do think you should have different ways of playing. You can always have like your main philosophy or whatever, but you have to have different ways of playing, I feel. At the highest level, if you want to be more than just a team that plays good football, a team that wins things, I think has to have different ways of being able to break down an opponent, defending, whatever. And that doesn't mean that you have to play bad football. Like playing bad football does not mean that, you, you know, you're just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I feel like Ange is like, this is the best way for us to do it. And I get it, but like, there's nothing wrong with dropping your line a little bit deeper against a team that has, a lot of counterattack threat when you don't have the right players back there to deal with the speed. Yesterday, Van de Ven is quick, but they just got whooped by, like, very straight balls down the gut over the top. Like, that would drive me fucking insane. And so, yeah, I think sometimes you have to have different types of tactics. That doesn't necessarily mean different tactics doesn't mean bad football. And I don't know if he's just very, like, one track mind or one trick pony, or he feels like that's just, like, the only way that he can get whatever he can get out of this group. But if I was a Spurs fan, I think I'd be a little bit like, okay, so why can't we do anything different? Like, ever? And so it's something that I've asked of Mikel a lot, just to have a different way of looking. It's like what once we got into a way of play, we kind of stuck with it. And then as time has gone on, he's been able to change things up, and that's good. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Spurs fan, so I don't know what they're thinking, but I would just be thinking like a straight ball over the top into the channels should not do us 2 or 3 times a game. It just shouldn't, like, that's just ridiculous. Dylan says, "Liverpool tears are the best tears, preferably a child in the crowd if possible." Uh, Jose, Jose says, "By the way, being real, I love your analysis, just doing it in the right way, thanks." Thank you so much, I really appreciate that. It's just what comes through the brain, you know? I don't know. I'm just talking off the cuff. Guest says, "Ange, Boy says, I think when developing a side, a manager shouldn't look to change styles for the first season and just doing it right. Spurs fans simply lost the plot and started saying that they're title challengers. And I think that's also a good point, is that if you want to have a certain way of play or you want to instill it, then you have to do it maybe for a longer period of time. Like, you get that initial foundation and then you can build on top of it. And so sometimes it will hurt, when you get beat the way that they're getting beat. I think Arteta was kind of did something similar. I just think that, Spurs fans can be a little bit like you said, a little bit, okay, we're better than you. And it's just like, first of all, your whole life's goal cannot just be to be better than us, because it's kind of like, what about winning trophies? But like, also calm down. It was only like the first couple of games and you guys look good. Once people figured you guys out, then it became more difficult. So, yeah, Thailand chief assets. Thailand's chief asset says, if Man City win the league again, I'm gonna stop watching the Premier League. Fair enough. It's pretty boring, right? Jeff says, "Did you play pro? I'm new to this channel." No, I played through college, so I didn't play pro, but I just work in the industry now. So, yeah. If I would have known more about the pro leagues that were around the world, I probably would have done it. But after college, I just was like, okay, I'm going a different direction, which has worked out. But it is what it is. Lucas says it's not about change, it's about in-game adjustments with Ange. Zitch says we all know Spuds ain't winning any trophies. Dylan Blue says I think Spurs are just enjoying watching attractive football again, but after the last few managers, they are willing to give Ange time the way you did with Arteta. Fair enough. I do feel like a lot of people, which interesting is that when we were sticking with Mikel, there were a lot of rivals that were saying that it was stupid. But now, in order to justify their managers going through bad patches, they say, well, yeah, you stuck with Arteta. And it's like, yeah, but when we were doing that, you were saying that it was stupid and he was a cone man and all this kind of stuff. So, you can't use somebody's thing without giving it credence and at least saying, yeah, I was wrong about that. You guys were right to keep Mikel Arteta because he's a good manager, right? And that's always my thing, is like the using Mikel thing. It He's an exception to the rule. I think he's the exception to the rule. I think most of the time when a manager is not doing good, they're just not good enough for the job, or they're not the right person for the job. And I think everybody using that same philosophy is obviously going to get them into trouble. And I do think it's probably right for Spurs because of what they want to do. But with Ten Hag, he was not it. Like, they definitely should have sacked him before, but they also were doing but Mikel, and it's like, yeah, but Mikel is probably the exception. Most managers, if they're not doing well and not performing well, it's probably because they're just not good enough, right? And so there's two things there. It's, you can't use our words against us when when we were saying it, you were saying that we were idiots for doing so. And also, not every manager should get time. Every situation is different. Every manager does not deserve time. LJM says, "Forget about the Premier League. We should win the UCL for Thierry Henry." Shit, win it for us, win it for us. I mean, I love Thierry, but win it for us. Khaled says, "Next season, I want us to win the FA Cup and challenge for the majors." C. Finnan says, "Don't like that Jorginho has been left out. Midfield will be too open." Mm, I don't know. Will it be open? I feel like Jorginho not in the lineup usually means that maybe we don't have as much control of the on the ball, but off the ball when it's not Jorginho and it's Havertz and Rice and Odegaard, we tend to dominate in a different way, which is winning second balls and being more aggressive and physical. So I don't know about it being open because I don't necessarily remember times where Havertz was in midfield and it was open per se. I feel like it's more just the dynamic switches from on the ball superiority to off the ball superiority. And so how is that going to work with what we're trying to do? And then how does Zinchenko add his little bit of flair to give us a little bit of that on the ball possession? Um, so yeah, Saturdays equals you says, "I'm glad the bosses gave Arteta time." Mata says he's not the exception. He's just from Basque. Exactly. Thailand's chief asset says, "Cause Liverpool just dropped the ball and they ain't picking back up. Cause City ain't dropping any points in the last 6 games." It's, City, if we don't win today, City are definitely, I feel like, just going to, I mean, they're going to do it anyway. They're going to win out probably the rest of their games. That's just the truth. Like they probably are, so we just have to win. We can hope that they'll drop some points, but in years gone past, we know that when they get into this realm, they're just very straightforward, So yeah, I think we just have to do what we can do. And that's just it, and that's just winning our games. We have some hard games coming up. We still have to play Spurs, we have to play United, this is another difficult one. But this is what's required to win the league against a City team that just always kind of steamroll at the end. And they always seem to, I feel like City always tend to have like easier run in. I could just be the last 2 years, I just feel like our run in has been like every top team or hard team that you can play, you're playing them right now. I would love to see some of these games a little bit further up. I would love for our games at the end of the season to be a lot easier next season. If we have another hard run in, I'm gonna be pissed. But that's just me. Boy says, "Have to win every game. It's really that simple." It really, really is. So, yeah, you guys. The link for the Villa watch along, which we're going over to just now, is in the description. It's pinned. The link is also within the chat as well. Just go ahead and copy and paste that, you guys. I'd love to watch the game with you guys. It's going to be so much fun. We'll get to be nervous together, which is like my favorite thing. So, yeah, link in description, link pinned, all that kind of stuff. You guys use code Jessica, just spelled like my name, JESSICA, in order to join. And I'll see you guys over there. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel on your way out. And yeah, you guys want to do some score predictions? Well, my score prediction, because you guys always ask and I never give it, is 2-1 Arsenal. I think they will score a goal and it'll get nervy and we'll win. So that's my prediction. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the watch along. Bye guys.